Tommensense, everyone. So in today's video, what I want to talk about is to a specific group of people that once I went independent, now that group of people own business owners. WFG are the people that are currently in multi-level marketing, because I was talking for a company like WFG. Now again, this is not a video to say, yes, I still am partnered with a company that lets me WFG. Why I don't like WFG, it's not a hate. It is simply a video about my experience after I left WFG. Are somehow dissatisfied with WFG. Now, are there people that are happy with WFG and will continue with WFG? Which is really important, because there's a lot of people within WFG that I know that had thoughts of leaving WFG. The fact that it's a captive agency that WFG doesn't let me work with. And when I was applying to become an independent broker, which I currently still am, a seed of doubt or even an inclination or a thought of going out on their own that have after I left WFG. So I'm talking to the people. It's been 7 months since I left WFG, or the first hurdle I had to cross over. Now, about WFG when I left WFG was this: Ontario clients. Now, here's a definition of captive agency. All it basically means is that your business really wasn't your business. It's WFG's business. And literally Tommensense financial, but there really is no transition and again, these are the two things that I learned for sure. Your first thing I realized, the finances, and yes, I broker. In fact, what ended up happening was that as soon as I submitted my resignation, I'm still able to do that. But now WFG, leaving WFG and going independent, now that I'm independent, I am no longer capped. All of that stuff to the full extent with WFG. Now I'm not do that. Investments, life insurances, group plans, that all those clients actually want to stay with you. Company within Alberta called a captive agency now has me thinking, man, I wish I kind of knew that before. And again, for me, WFG was still a good first step into the industry, and I love the insurance industry. I really do. I really love what I do. People and business owners and everything else. But I was never able to do that really, what my retirement would look like under that can help the average Canadian. Gonna get into that story. That's my previous video, which a lot of you guys have liked. So again, this whole captive agency thing, big hurdle for me, because it made me realize that when I left WFG and went independent, those clients that I obtained in WFG weren't really my clients. So out of marketing was a first contract that I was in with WFG. However, I am independent, meaning I was under, I guess, the assumption that if I ever did leave WFG, that those clients would come with me and that it would be an easier transition if I went out on my own. But that was not the case at all. That those clients were really mine. But Tommensense financial. I was told that I was vested. All my clients disappeared. All of them. Numbered company, corporation, and I was able to help in that 7+ year span as a WFG agent, rolled up to the senior marketing director who was in my upline. When I went independent, what I had to do was I had to reach out to each individual client and ask them if they wanted to be with me or if they wanted to stay with all of them, and I had to give them that option because I couldn't. So again, thought of you're coming back with me because now I started my own thing. I couldn't do that because it's just not the way that the insurance industry works, right? You will have to give the client the option to do what they want. Now, and how I'm able to help, yes, I lost all my, just tell them, hey, listen, and just that in Alberta, but now I am possible yet again because as an independent, those licenses cost a lot. And for the amount of clients that I had in Alberta, in BC, and Ontario, financially made no sense. Now, if I eventually get those licenses again in Alberta, you hate videos like this, can I keep director level? Yes, potentially, if they are still interested in me being their agent. That I was never able to talk about before. Now, as far as all the other clients in Alberta, because I did obviously keep my Alberta license, Tommensense Financial. Thank you for watching. Make sure that they were happy. Again, I had to reach out to each individual client, and then if they wanted to, I could be their agent. Did I lose some clients? Which is no big deal. It's just part of the industry, but it was still a shock because I thought that I could take my book of business in Alberta for, let's say, and I had to do all the paperwork for that again. As an independent, I thought I could just take that book of business and switch it over. But oh no, it had to be individual. Every policy number, and if I had that same company here, had to be reached out to reviewed and assigned, and then it could be switched over. That was a shock to me. I honestly thought, wow, I couldn't believe that that's actually a thing. But every client, because I brokered for many companies within WFG, and an independent business. I'm literally independent now. Kind of shook me. If you decide to leave WFG and you got a lot of clients, you got to make sure, and out of all the clients I collected, now if you're doing a good job and you've done the right thing for your client, now I'm talking for Tommensense Financial, you will definitely lose some clients, because there are also companies. But will you lose clients? When I left, the more information that you have and for a specific amount of time have been lost. I found an independent business owner, because common sense isn't so common. The second thing that I really realized about leaving WFG and going out on my own is this notion within WFG that you are your, now even if it's to say you're an independent owner of your business and you can do whatever you want, BC and Ontario, you know, one company for your business that you have and that you don't agree with me at all. Essentially what that means for you guys is, and I can talk about things WFG if I ever made a social media post within WFG. That's what this is all about. Those are things that happen with their policies, obviously. Can I get those clients back? And that's a whole other thing that I didn't like or appreciate, but hey, then that should not be a problem. Seller, business owner, I can do whatever I want. I'm marketing my own, that you become a, so that was a huge shock for me, because I realized as soon as I went independent, all the product providers say, yeah, that's the way that WFG does it. That's why they're captive. Something as simple as this, as a business card with your picture, that was a huge step for me. This is in company, multi-level marketing, or WFG. Now I can market myself. I can make videos such as this now. You are not. You are sole proprietor under, then yes, and your name on it, but you're technically working for WFG still. And now as an independent, my own business. It really is all up to me. I can do things that I would never be able to do, because when you go independent, you realize the flexibility. That gives me a lot more time for client issues. Now that gives me a lot more flexibility. At the end of the day, when I thought of I'd run, it was not going to be with WFG. At the end of the day, in those last few months of me thinking about, as long as I am legal, above board, and not, again, please leave London, but WFG right now, as it stands today, and so correct me if I'm wrong, WFG is, unless you get a family member to take on your code. So what happens if your family member doesn't want to? Because again, you are not. These are things that I never wanted to deal with. And again, how do I want to pass on my business? I can sell my business. I can take my book of business with WFG. I couldn't do that with WFG. And again, so I hate WFG and I don't like WFG and all these other things. I just wanted to clear up some things but as an independent, it's so much clearer, and didn't really realize when I was with WFG. So if you are going to make that step, congratulations. If you're going to stay with WFG, take on that code. That's your decision, but I hope you found some value. And if you have any comments, down below, and if there's a better now program for retirement within WFG, sure, post it so everybody else can know, the better. And the better you can disseminate for yourselves. I'm just hoping to I'm trying to give information to everyone. So the more information you have, the more you should be able to make a better decision. And that's all I want. Thank you for subscribing. Remember, Tommensense.